What are we going to talk about tonight? We're going to talk about a really, really cool two-parter. We're going to talk about both of them in this one video. And what is it? It is Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane, issue number 6 and issue number 7. This is where Todd picks up after his first 5-issue Torment story. He's still writer and artist, and you get to see just what made that title. I love this title. I love it. The first 16 issues, even with Larson doing issue 15, amazing stuff for the time. It was a horror book disguised as a Spidey book. You have the Hobgoblin who has been turned into a true demon. This is before you had Hobgoblin and Demogoblin. That came a couple years later during the Maximum Carnage storyline. But you get to see these characters, and it's a boy named Adam and his mother, and the Hobgoblin's talking to her, and let's see. Why must you test me? I could kill you all in a second, yet I choose to forgive you. All I want in return is your silence. And he says, what is wrong with you? Why do you continue to curse me? And this woman looks at him and says, we haven't said a word. And Hobgoblin says, liar! Then look and tell me what you see. And she turns her face. She can't bear to look at his face. And she says, I can't. And that incenses the goblin. And she says, don't harm my child. And he pushes again for her to say, something positive. And she says, I haven't said a word. He says, such a pity, because you had the looks of an angel. And so she was trapped in this goo type stuff. And so he grabs her and puts his hand over her mouth where she can't breathe. So you see her eyes get really big in this panel right here. And he says, oh, so now you can look at me. And then he ends up pushing her deeper into the goo and suffocates her right there in front of her child. And he takes the child with him. He says, come, you shall be my disciple, and I will give you strength and knowledge. Our mission is just beginning. And Adam looks at him and says, I want my mom. And the goblin says, forget your earthly wants. So you start off with this horror scenario where the goblin has been capturing just random people off the street because he's hearing voices in his head that people are talking about him, calling him deformed, calling him a freak of nature, calling him all sorts of things. It's part of the demon inside of his head. Well, next up, you have Peter swinging through the city because he feels like he needs to get out and get some fresh air. Let's see, where did that go? It's here somewhere. It's in the book. I read it. I don't know. Peter's asleep with MJ. So instead, you have Ghost Rider here. And Ghost Rider is holding this dude upside down by the foot using his mystical chain. He's trying to get information about the goblin. He wants the Hobgoblin. He wants to hit him with his penance stare, and he says, let's see. The guy says, they're just street kids, nothing special. I gave them a home and work. Is that so bad? And Ghost Rider says, you stole their innocence. And when you were done, you stole their lives. That is a crime I cannot forgive. And the guy says, no, I only fulfilled their wants and their desires. They were homeless and I gave them love. I've done nothing. It was them. They were worthless. My only sin is that I cared. and the rider says, you are sick. Now you must suffer for your deeds. And he drops him. Now he doesn't intend on killing him, but the guy doesn't know that. So he looks straight into his face, and to me, that Danny Ketch version of Ghost Rider, man, if Todd wasn't drawing this book, that would have been amazing to see Todd do even 6 months on Ghost Rider. Now, nothing against Javier Salters and Mark Teixeira. They did an excellent job on that first 2 years of that run. But Todd would have drawn one hell of a Ghost Rider. So then you have Tiger Ed, and then you have Ryder still looking for Hobgoblin. And in the end, you get a little levity with Spider-Man, where you do not get any levity with Ghost Rider, but he's looking for Hobgoblin as well, and so he finds this guy who's got some mysterious white powder in a test tube, and the guy's like, man, just don't pour it out. Just whatever you do, I'll tell you whatever you want. Just don't pour it out. And so he pours it out, and he's like, I wouldn't breathe hard in that direction for the next hour while the webbing wears off. And about that time, he says, hey, the wind! You forgot about the wind! What kind of monster are you? So there goes his blow right off the wind. So no stuff for you tonight. Meanwhile, Ryder is still throwing people around and beating them up. Spidey finally tracks down Hobgoblin, and these two are having a good old-fashioned Marvel brawl, as drawn by Todd. And in the end, you get to see that the boy has been corrupted by the Hobgoblin's power. So he's half demon and half Adam. And in the second issue, the cover pretty much says it all. You get Spidey versus Ghost Rider, and then Ghost Rider versus the Hobgoblin. So it's and what was cool is they used to do little two-parters back in the 90s, and it would say part 2 of 2, and that was normal script across any time that they had like a 2 or a 3-parter or something like that. You would usually see that on the cover. That way you knew, hey, I'm in the middle of a story, I need to go back and reread the first issue. But you finally get that double-page spread by Todd where Ryder shows up. And Hobgoblin is off of his rocker. He's just, Lucifer, the spider devil sent for Lucifer himself. And Spidey's like, is the world going nuts? What is going on here? Dude crashes through a wall with a flaming head and a motorcycle. And he goes and Spidey grabs the kid and saves him, and Hobgoblin jumps out of the way, and he says, my faith shall be your downfall. I will conquer your evil, then watch you beg for forgiveness. And the Rider says, fool, I am the Ghost Rider. I protect the innocent from those like you. 12 people are dead. You will pay dearly for your crimes. Society cannot continue to live in fear of those who prey against the weak. And so you get Ghost Rider in this power position set up to go against the Hobgoblin. And I'm not going to tell you how this ends, guys, but these 2 issues were just pure magic back in the day. You had to be there, you had to read it, you had to see it. Now I will give you a little sneak peek as to what happens. You get to see Spidey down here, and he's pissed off. And he's like, look, Ryder, you're good, but you're not that good. You're still trying to figure out what's right, what's wrong, who's good, who's bad, and how we deal with people. We are heroes. We don't kill. We don't destroy and send them off to another dimension. We don't do those sorts of things. This boy is the one that's important. The atoms of this world deserve our protection. They don't deserve to be left out in the cold while you're over here beating the hell out of the Hobgoblin. So, guys, I thoroughly enjoyed flipping through these 2 books again. This was a lot of fun. A nice little romp through Todd land. I know we got Spawn, but I wish we could have gotten at least another year worth of Todd on Spidey, because this book was cooking the first year or so. Now, Perceptions, a lot of people didn't like that one. That one ran from 8 through 12, and it was Spider-Man and Wolverine floating around Canada. But that was a good book too. I enjoyed that, even though it was 5 parts, so it was a little bit longer. But if you guys haven't read these 2 issues, go pick them up. I don't think they're very expensive, because it's not part of the Infinity Gauntlet. It's not anything like that. It just happened to be a 2-issue banger by Todd McFarlane. So that's it for tonight, guys. Hope everybody's staying safe with the weather and things like that where you're at. Take care, and I've got more great content coming up for you. If you have not, please like and subscribe to this channel to get more amazing content. just like what you saw. Have a great night, guys.